So we are continuing on with our discussion of the first precept this week. And I just want to read it again so it's fresh in our minds. It says, aware of the suffering caused by the destruction of life, I undertake the training to not destroy or harm other living beings and form the intention to bring forth compassion and learn ways to protect the lives of people, animals, plants, and the environment. Its essence is to cultivate harmlessness by opening our hearts and letting compassion guide us in the direction of protecting life. And over the past few weeks, we've explored the precept from lots of angles, getting maybe a deeper understanding of how we can refrain from causing harm to ourselves, to others, to animals and other creatures. And today I want to speak a bit about not causing harm to the environment and to our planet. It feels like a big leap. It's challenging enough to not cause harm to that one mosquito that's buzzing at our ear, or the infestation of ants that have appeared in our house. And now I want to think about how we refrain from harming the zillions of bugs and pests that inhabit the planet, and also the creatures, innumerable creatures and plants, some that we never even see in the depths of the oceans or high in the skies, some that may not even be discovered yet. And beyond all of these beings, the planet itself, which also is a living entity, with the rainforest as its lungs, the oceans and rivers and lakes as its source of water, and where there is immense harm being done and unprecedented suffering. It's really hard to know how to bring a meditative, mindful stance to such a huge topic. And lots of people don't, because the cushion's a refuge, and we need a place to draw our attention inward and escape the suffering and divisiveness of our times. Even if it's for just a short while, we need that. I know I do sometimes. But as Biko Analeo says in his book, Mindfully Facing Climate Change, in order to be truly free, we need to directly acknowledge dukkha so that we can skillfully transform it into compassion and wisdom. And that's just what the first precept is asking us to do. We watch the news and we see the harm being posed on our planet. We all know it. We've experienced it. It's dukkha of floods and droughts and fire, the poison of pesticides, plastic pollution, extinction of species. I could go on. The challenges are existential, really. And they evoke so many emotions for us: helplessness, fear, anger, grief, despair, hopelessness, resentment, urgency, self-righteousness, overwhelm. Sounds like I'm being a real downer. And even numbness. And numbness, that's often where I land. I might think about the devastation, but I don't feel very much. My heart's gone numb, my mind's constricted, and I feel overwhelmed and disconnected. So just for a moment, explore for yourself where you land and just inquire, how does your heart and mind feel? Are you open to the pain of the suffering of the planet? If you feel disconnected or constricted, like I do sometimes, that's a turning away. It's a denial of the truth of suffering. And nothing can be transformed if we can't face it. We can't move towards harmlessness or cultivate a compassionate heart if our hearts are closed. So that's why we practice, right? That's why we come here, so we can strengthen our ability to keep our hearts open even a little bit more. And even in the face of really hard stuff, so that we feel the stirrings of compassion inside. Mark Coleman is a wonderful Buddhist teacher who means a lot to me. And he integrates mindfulness in nature into his teaching and his practice. And when he speaks to this issue of our planet and climate change, he frequently says, we protect what we love. Like a mama bear protecting her cubs, or really any mother protecting her young. We protect what we love. And each of us knows what that feels like inside us. When we love, we feel connected and we care. And so Mark brings people into nature to fall in love. And even in the midst of all of the harm being done to the planet, it's still able to offer us so many gifts, so much beauty and opportunity to open to all of our senses, to experience wonder in the vast expanse and the smallest detail, to feel delight in a bird song. It's so easy to fall in love. And even just saying it, I can feel it. The opening and softening of my heart as I connect with the world around me. Somehow there's an understanding below any concept that I'm connected and a part of all this. I'm not separate from it. Thich Nhat Hanh speaks to this a lot. He says, you carry Mother Earth within you. She's not outside of you. And in that insight of interbeing, it's possible to have real communication with the earth. This is the antidote to my numbness. Offering myself these opportunities to fall in love again and again with the world around me. This in itself is a practice, because it's so easy to become numb again, or angry, or despairing, or whatever it is for you. It's so easy to forget that feeling of my connection to the earth. I can get swept back up by the culture that surrounds me, and I might end up wanting things I don't need, wasting things, driving too much, reverting back to a way I have in the past without much mindfulness of the consequences. I have to keep returning to my softened heart and to connection to remember. And then I'm more easily moved to refrain from causing harm. So here's one really small example that has changed me. When I go for walks, I try to pick up the cans that I see on the roadside. And it used to be that when I saw the trash, kind of so blatantly discarded, I'd get angry. And I'd start ranting in my mind at whomever was so thoughtless. I was pissed and my heart would close right up. But more recently, something has shifted in my perspective. And when I go for my walks and I pick up the cans, I think of it as an act of love and compassion for the earth. It has nothing to do with the people who threw things out of the window. And this feels good. It's about caring for. And my heart stays open and connected. Joanna Macy is another wonderful Buddhist teacher and elder who's committed much of her life to what is called deep ecology. And that's a philosophy that recognizes the inherent worth of all living beings and the planet. And she's created a program called The Work That Reconnects. It's similar to Mark's work in that it's designed to deepen our connection to the planet and not turn away from its suffering. But it also focuses on deepening our connection to each other, to our common humanity. She says, we all share in being a part of this planet. Yet, when we're faced with painful feelings like despair, we're conditioned to think that we should handle it alone. And so we isolate and we disconnect. And Macy really advocates for joining together. Her advice is to do something, really anything, in your effort to protect the planet. It really doesn't matter as much what you do, but that you do something, not by yourself, but with others. All of us here today, together on this daily sit, I think we know the strength that comes from doing something together. There is a power to it. And I think this coming together, this learning to meditate, practicing the intention of non-harming here, that this in itself is an action to help protect the planet. So this is one way to live into this precept. We practice opening our hearts to the pain of the planet. We stay engaged and connected. We do something in community with others. And we might fail. In fact, I would imagine we will fail at times. And as hard as it is to even consider, the planet may die. We just don't know. But we're moved by compassion to refrain from causing any more harm, regardless of the results. You know, the Buddha didn't talk about the threat to the planet in his suttas. He spoke a fair amount about the natural world and how to use it in our practice. But climate change wasn't an issue at his time. I wonder if he could even imagine the state that we're in today. But his teachings are timeless and they're foundational. They're really the underpinning to the wisdom that's offered by contemporary teachers. It's Mark Coleman, Joanna Macy, Thich Nhat Hanh, Bhikkhu Analayo, Joan Halifax, and so many others that are rallying to this suffering and showing us a way. And I'm so grateful to them for their perspectives and their guidance. So I want to end with really hopeful words from Joanna Macy about living on our planet. She says, the most remarkable feature of this historical moment on Earth is not that we're on the way to destroying the world. We've actually been on the way for quite a while. It's that we're beginning to wake up as from a millennia-long sleep to a whole new relationship to our world, to ourselves, and to each other. So thank you so much for your attention. And now let's spend some time practicing together. And as we always do, bringing our attention first to these bodies that enable us to be on this planet and to be able to practice in the way that we do. And if we think of them in that way, really spend some time with care thinking about and feeling into what it is they need. And offer that. And when your body feels maybe a little more relaxed, a little more alert, bring yourself into a posture of relative stillness. And just settle in. Noticing yourself in space. Spaciousness all around you and above you and below you. Feeling yourself grounded to the earth. How the earth offers you a sturdiness, a steadiness. And noticing how with each out breath, you can settle just a bit more in. Feeling your sits bones sinking into your chair or cushion. And let your attention come inward. And just noticing what's it like in here today, in this moment. Noticing the state of your mind and your heart. And if they are not already, inviting mind and heart to soften and open a bit. offering yourself that spaciousness that allows softening to occur. Whatever is arising for you, can you meet it with a sense of friendliness and open heartedness? Even if it's painful or constricted in some way. Can you welcome it and notice your heart move towards compassion for that painful experience? Not forcing it, but just noticing how that naturally happens. If we can ground ourselves in a friendly, open heart. If your mind has wandered off or your attention is a bit casual, returning again and again to what's occurring right now for you. Welcoming your attention back. Mm-hmm.